Hello, I'm Joseph Huberman, Vice President for Club Services, and I'd like to welcome you to the OUSA Monthly Forum. Alex Azarov will be leading a presentation on effective training in competitive orienteering. And you'll notice that there are linked messages. Linked in the messages are details about implementing his training. So after listening to his presentation, you can get a lot more detail about specifics in these lengthy documents. So in order to see more of the details of the presentation, you should change the following settings in Meet. Click the three dots at the bottom, select Layout and change it to Spotlight. Select the three dots again, and then select Full Screen. You can also hide the messages once you don't need them. So we're going to turn it over to Alex in a few minutes. We'll give some time for a few more people to join. We plan to be recording this presentation. So if you don't want to be recorded, you should hide your camera and microphone, or you can leave the meeting. Okay, well, we've got a pretty good group assembled, and it's a couple of minutes after 8:30. So Alex, you want to go ahead and begin your presentation.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, your screen is showing.
All right. Today's talk about effective training in orienteering. And first of all, I want to whom this presentation is addressed to. This presentation is for those orienteers who want to be leaders and for coaches, of course, who want to develop leaders. And what I mean by that, I want to explain in a second. There are three types of people in orienteering. First type, those who enjoy being in the woods. That's it. That's not very interesting for us. The second type are those who want to compete with equals. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. And the third type are those who want to be leaders. What's the difference between last two types of people? Those who want to compete with equals, they are ready to hard work, they are ready to train, but they only ready to do the things they like to do. If they like to run on the trails, they run on the trails. If they don't like run in the let's say dense woods, they won't run in the dense woods. And the second type, those who want to be leaders, they willing to do everything it takes to take them to the top. And for these people, actually is my presentation. The inspiration of this talk came from COSI Orienteering training weekend in March this year. And I had a conversation with Ted Good. And the conversation was like this. Ted said, US orienteers are too slow to be competitive on international arena. And I replied that they are not slow runners, they're slow orienteers. What I mean by that? Imagine if you run 5 kilometers race, just cross-country race. And in the middle of the race, you decided to stop and then start to run immediately after that. And if you do that, you would lose about from 5 to 10 seconds of your time, of your race time, if you didn't stop. So let's say on today's courses, you have 30 controls sometimes, right? And if you stop once on each control, you would lose 300 seconds, roughly. It's 5 minutes. So you lose 5 minutes just to stop. That's why I'm saying that US orienteers are slow orienteers. They have no problem running after somebody in the woods, but if they need to navigate, they do every action they need slower than the top orienteers in the world. On an orienteering course, you do thousands of different actions. The small, tiny actions, like taking compass bearing, orient your map, choose the direction, and if you do every of these tiny action just 0.1 second slower, then you lose considerable amount of time on the whole course. So Ted asked, how could they become fast orienteers? This natural question. And to answer this question, I actually was thinking a lot how to answer this question, and I came up with this presentation. The short answer is orienteering system must be built from individual skills. And let me explain what orienteering system is. So the orienteering system on the left, you actually, first of all, you list all your actions in the woods, what you do on a course, when you're on a course. And you list all of them, and maybe some relationship between these actions. And the example of actions given on the left. Then, when you have your blueprint of your system, there's something you imagine. something how you want to see your orienteering. And when you invent special trainings of how you want to train to make this chat happen. I mean, how you want to train technical actions, how you want to train strategic actions, everything. And when you actually go training, you implement these training sessions and you build your actual system. And when you go to an event, to competition event, and you run your course, and you see out of that something went wrong. So you make some corrections to your blueprint, of course, or you can make some corrections to your trainings. And this is how it works. But this building the orienteering system is a difficult task. It's more like adopting some philosophy of how you run in the woods, what you do, and it's kind of close to your religion. If you, for example, if you believe in God, then to achieve some things, you probably would go to church and pray hard to achieve something. If you don't believe in God, for example, you're a physicist, then you go to study and study more. But this is just a sketch of orienteering system. And as I said, it's difficult. And what you should start from, there are two things which you need to understand and to start with. First thing is stop measure mistakes in minutes. Mistake is not equal to time loss. And the second thing is to achieve better result, you should work more, not less. This seems to be obvious, and let me explain what I mean a little bit later. What I mean by mistake is not time loss. Of course, everybody agree that to be a better orienteer and to make your training effective, you should analyze your courses. And usually how it's done. Look at the splits alone or together with your friend, and you look at the splits and say something, oh, at that control I lost 6 minutes. So this means I made a mistake over there. Why? Because I didn't see that boulder, and for example, or didn't see that trail. And when you repeat the item 2 for other controls, And that what how the analysis looks like in most cases. What I saw on the meets around, how the people analyze their courses. And what's the problem with this analysis? This analysis gives you very little information about what you should do. Okay, you lost 6 minutes and you didn't see that boulder, but what you should do to not make this mistake in the future. And here's what the definition of the mistake. The definition of mistake is if you do something wrong. The mistake is wrong actions. Time loss, on the other hand, is not a mistake. It's manifestation of the mistake. It's a symptom. Like if you have a flu, right? You have a high temperature, and if you try to cure your flu, then you probably should take some pills, but not if you try to just to reduce your body temperature, then you wouldn't cure the flu. It helps some kind of, but it's not effective. And time loss also punishment for making a mistake. And if you make if you put an equal sign between time loss and mistake, then 20 minutes loss would mean a huge mistake, and it should be analyzed. It should be analyzed a lot, and you should spend a lot of time to prevent this mistake. But it's not true. It might be not. Sometimes time loss happen without a mistake. It maybe map is wrong at that place, or maybe some other factors. Anything can happen. Or you, let's say, you get injured, and because of that you lost your concentration, and that time loss happened. Also, most of mistakes happens without time loss, at least explicit time loss. This means that you get lucky at that time. No punishment. This can explain some unstable performance, which probably all of you experience at some times. For example, I remember when I ran Georgia Navigator Cup this year, I ran red course, and it was a girl who also ran red course, and first day she won over me like 5-6 minutes, and the second day she lost to me also 5 minutes or something. So what it means, I didn't run faster and I didn't make any mistake. It wasn't any time loss. So why is this big difference in the performance? It's because she actually made the same mistakes on both days. But first day she was lucky, and the second day she wasn't lucky. That's what explanation for this. And the biggest problem when you identify your mistake as a time loss. When you can identify your mistakes, then you can design the exercises, specific exercises and trainings to eliminate these mistakes. If you just study the time loss, then what would be the specific exercises to eliminate the time loss? Nobody knows. Now, the second part, it's probably more important. On each seminars in states, which I attend to, about the orienteering trainings, coaches seminars, or the training sessions at the training weekend and so on, they always talking about rough compass bearing and rough navigation. And when I hear these things, I actually ask questions like, how do you define this rough compass bearing or rough navigation? How rough is rough? For example, if we talk about compass bearing and you execute compass bearing so that you look at the compass from time to time, right? And if in dense navigation, dense vegetation, you look at compass more and more frequently. So if you're talking about rough compass bearing, what it means, you should look at your compass twice less than normal, or 3 times less than normal, or what. Also the question, how could you train these things? So how could you train the rough compass bearing? And I never get answers to these questions. Actually, during the discussion at QOC training weekend, we agreed that the rough means you either skip some actions or you do them sloppily. And you do this for a reason that you want to save some time or relax mentally. So you not have to be concentrated all the time. But in reality, there is neither rough compass bearing nor rough navigation. There is these things, they don't exist. when I asked Ken Walker about this, what he meant about rough compost bearing, and he was giving presentation at the same training camp, and he answered that he means that rough compost bearing is when he doesn't rotate the dial. But wait a second. It usually takes 1 or 2 seconds to rotate the dial, right? And if you off the bearing, if you off the straight line, then you probably lose at least 10 seconds just because the increase of distance, or you run in the dense vegetation or rough ground. So it's not, you lose much more time just if you execute the compost bearing not perfect. So saving these 1-2 seconds doesn't make any sense. And so the second point, if you don't rotate the dial, you significantly lower the accuracy, and your run is less reliable. So what I'm coming to is every route choice requires some actions for to be properly executed. And if you skip some of these actions, then you sacrifice reliability and you raise the probability of the fault. You raise the probability of time loss. I have a great analogy about this. Imagine that you work at the post office, and your job is to tape the boxes. Somebody just pack them in, and you stand beside the conveyor with the boxes, and you take a box and you should tape it, making full round tape around the box, the full circle. And at some point you realize that if the box is light, which are most boxes, then to be safe, you can make just half of the circle around, half of the tape. And you can save quite a bit of time in a day, just making not the full round, but just halfway. So what you do, you take a box, estimate how it weighs, and if it weighs, if it's not heavy, you make half of the circle with the tape. If it's heavy, you make full circle, full round. Now, what happened? You can imagine that at some point, you take a box, automatically you make half a round of tape, and you put it back to the conveyor. And when you realize that the box was heavy. You just did it automatically, but it should be all the way around. So what you do, you should stop the conveyor, take the box, and make the full round, right? And on this, I bet when you stop the conveyor, you lose much more time than you gain on all the boxes over the day. So about the rough compass bearing or rough navigation, I would say better to look at it from the different point. Better to understand that you should choose your route such that it minimizes the complexity needed to execute this route choice. But you shouldn't skip any actions while the execution. That's what I mean, work more, not less. Now, the leading concept in United States, leading orienteering concept is attack points. And I don't like attack points because of some reasons. First of all, like you can see here, it's some violent action against something. And you do violent actions against your enemies, right? But I think if you instead make the course and make terrain, make the map to be your friends, then you can do much better than make violent actions against them. The second point is when you do attack points in its classical representation, then you should be at first, before you reach your attack point, you should be like an elephant in the woods, not flexible, stiff, and very straightforward, harsh. And after the attack point, you should transform into a cat. That's my imagination. The cat is flexible and very soft, very accurate. So you should be both. Before attack point, you're an elephant, and after the attack point, you're a cat. And the instant when you change the behavior is very dangerous. Being a physicist, I know that everything bad happens when you change something in transition mode. It's very seldom happens in steady state. In steady state is always in 99% of chances in steady state everything is fine. And also the attack points makes you to perceive map and course in terms of dot objects. So you choose attack point, you come to this dot. It may be a big object, easy to find, easy to see, but it's still some dot object. and when you see the control, another dot object. But I think that more profitable is perceive the map and the course in terms of lines, and the points only connect these lines, and this makes navigation much more easier and reliable. So about the attack points. In the early days, maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I was strictly against attack points. Just because of the reasons I explained before. I was saying that it's a really bad concept. But it's a difficult task to change your concept. If you used to teach the attack points to newcomers or to everybody in states for years, it's very difficult to switch to something else. So I think better is to just think a little bit differently about the same concept. It may be attack points, but the way it taught is make you believe or make you think that if you work less, you can gain more. That's what I was talking about before. But if it taught in a way that if you just get rid of unimportant details and you just throw them away, then you can do something better. In reality, the simplification or generalization of map and terrain, it takes a lot of work, and it shouldn't be done this way. I give you an example, and this example may be a little bit difficult to understand, but still I'll try. Imagine that you measure some value, for example, temperature outside, and if you measure it, let's say every minute, and it's a difficult. It takes a lot of time to get all these measurements. So you decide to take measurement every hour, right? And if you just pick one measurement at one point, and when just pick another measurement in an hour, these measurements would be not accurate. Much more accurate would be if you still measure this continuously, almost continuously, every minute. And when you average over the hour, and in this case, you will get much more consistent results. So the same here. If you not just throw throw away some details which you don't like or you think not important. You perceive all the details and some kind of average them all over the space, and this will give you simplification, or if you will, generalization of the course, and it will make your run much more reliable. So work more, not less. And it can be done if you still stick with attack points. Now, the conclusions. First of all, we need to conclude that orienteers, the trainees in US, they treat it as those who want to compete with equals. They taught tricks, not the system. So basically, the people taught something like, you don't know how to take compass bearing fast. Okay, let me show you how you can avoid this, taking the compass bearing. But in reality, it's more profitable if you just train to take the compass bearing and you do it much faster than you do it now. And this is the way to the top. Orienteering coaching programs in US, I think they should implement the principle work more, not less. And this is what I actually said before. And the second point, orienteering coaching programs should be focused on development system from the beginning. It may be difficult if you all your time learn tricks, just separate tricks, then it would be much more very difficult for you to turn to orienteering system. But if you taught at the beginning orienteering system, any system, then you would get it automatically. If you start from the beginning, then it's easy, and it's actually done in very easy way. Again, the analogy with religion, if you all the way with Christian, right? It's very seldom when the people turn to other religion in the middle of their life, right? So you should teach religion, and you should learn the religion from the beginning. What the challenges for US orienteering altogether? First of all, it's objective thing that not many people do in orienteering in the United States than, let's say, in Europe. And that's why the probability to get a talent the same, but the possibility to find this talent among the less number of people, it's much less. So this, unfortunately, we can't do anything about this. And also, there is a challenge that top athletes have no motivation to improve in the United States, because if they come to national meet, they usually win at high margin over the other competitors. So not enough competition in the States, and that's why there is no motivation to improve. And this can be addressed partly to participate in international events, of course, and partly if you follow a system, then usually the system means that you should put some goals how to improve, and this may help. And that's it for now. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, well, thank you very much. The program is now open for questions. If you would like to ask any questions, please raise your hand. Tori, go ahead.
So thank you, Alex, for your presentation. It was very interesting to hear through your eyes what you see in the U.S. community and what you see as things that we could improve on. I'm wondering if you've taken the level 1 coaching certification in the U.S. Have you seen it?
I actually passed level 2. I level 2 certified.
So did you use this book?
No.
No. Okay. I'm going to push back a little bit, because I will tell you that depending on when you took the coaching course, I think there are definitions for these terms. They're not what you heard at the Quantico event. And there is a framework. There is a religion to this. And I would love to compare notes with you on what we're actually using. Because I think it would, one, be helpful to us in the things that we have in refining them, but two, it might also influence the way that you see this, because I think it may have changed significantly since you last trained.
Okay. What's the question?
So that was my question, because I heard all of what you said, and I was confused by not having a definition of rough compass reading or rough map reading.
Give me the definition of the rough compass reading.
Yep. So from the book, in rough compass reading, you do not precisely, so you do dial in, as you discussed, which one of my friends calls it a Russian bearing. So I love that. You do dial in, and in precision compass, you would be using your direction of travel arrow to line up with a tree or a rock or some feature along the direction of travel, and you'd go to that and you would repeat that very deliberately. The difference in rough compass reading would be that you have dialed in your direction of travel arrow. You're still lining up your north arrow, red thread in the shed, but you're not necessarily stopping to pick out a feature along your line. You're just using your map and your compass, and you're going in the general direction.
Okay, and why would you do that? Why is it better than normal compass reading?
So the difference between doing that and doing the step of looking at the tree or looking at the rock is just a speed thing, and it's a whether or not you need to be that precise in your bearing at that moment, or maybe you are running to
you actually don't look at your compass, right?
You would be looking at your compass, yeah.
So I don't see the time gain in your definition.
So the difference to me, like when I think about this, when I choose to do the precise version, so I have dialed in my compass and I am holding it very carefully and I am looking, where is the tree ahead of me? And then I'm going to that tree and then I'm doing it again. I'm looking at my compass, what is on my line? Okay, it's that boulder that's up there. I'm going to the boulder.
Okay.
Versus I know I need to cover this area in this general direction very quickly. I'm not worried about being that precise because I know that on the other end of this, I have some very detailed terrain that will allow me to locate myself precisely. I just need to go in that general direction. So I'm going to look at my compass, I'm going to look at the terrain, and I'm going to go.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see first of all, I don't see significant time gain in your version, first of all. And also, if you do this, then you actually you lose your confidence. You lose reliability. If you need to cover the area, right? And for example, you want to be at some trail junction, and if you are a little bit off, depending on the amount of the distance you need to cover, but if you off, you might come to another trail junction, and that would be parallel arrow. That's what I'm talking about. These things they shouldn't exist because they teach you to work less to achieve more.
So I'm going to push back on this again, because if I've decided I'm using a precise understanding of the terrain instead to relocate, and I'm moving across an area very quickly, I guarantee you I cannot dial in a compass and use it as quickly as you can. And I'll just say this because I think of Angelica Riley. She has been dialing compasses since she was very young. She is so fast at it. And comparatively, like when the two of us orienteer together, she can do that very fast. I can read the map very fast. And so I use the thing that I can do that is strongest for me. But anyway, I'll stop taking up the airways and let someone else talk.
All right.
Okay, Michelle.
Hi there. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. We had just a question about the different types of systems that guide your training. So, you know, a system around setting a compass bearing, what sort of systems do you use for route choice?
Exit
strategies. Like when you say set systems, like do you have names for your different systems?
Okay. This actually is subject of separate full discussion.
Gotcha.
But anyway, first of all, to make a system, you choose your religion, you choose your philosophy, how you want to see your orienteering. For example, you may say, okay, I remember when Thierry Georgiou came to States, at some point, he said something that there are two types of orienteers. First type is when they always know where they are. The second type, those who always know where they will be in the next moment. And this subtle difference, but it's your religion. And when you put this imaginary stuff you can say that my orienteering should be very fast flow through the woods. I should be able to read like very difficult structures of boulders and so on. And when you put this out of this, you build your system. Your technique, the technical stuff, is your toolbox. And when you should tell to yourself how you use your toolbox. This is tactics. So this basically, when you use compass bearing, when you use precise navigation, when you use anything, when you should run fast or you should hold off, everything like that. And when you put everything on paper, you make kind of list, then you say, okay, I need this type of training to train this ability, to this skill. I need this type of training to train this. Like in my, on that slide, here, for example, you have psychological actions. What it means? It means that your psychology should guarantee that you do everything right, every technical action or all other actions, it's done right. That's what psychology means. And you should find some, invent some training for yourself of how to bring you to the state ready to the rest, to the race. You know what I mean? That's what. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. I have one quick follow-up question. I want to go back to your example of like missing the boulder, because that's kind of when I review my routes, that's exactly what I would say is, oh, I missed that boulder. That's where I made my error. But how do I switch the way I think about that? What am I doing, or how do I know what I'm doing wrong that's more systems approach than just missing a boulder or a trail intersection and I ran past it?
Yes, you should. There is a reason you missed a boulder, right? And you need to dig up to this reason. But this reason, it's like when you talk to kids, right? Sometimes they asking the silly question, why the wind blowing, right? You say because of the pressure difference. Why the pressure different? And you start to do this, and it can be many levels, but you come only to the level you need for your training. Is it if it's enough for you just to mention, okay, I missed this boulder, and you know how to train this ability, not missing the boulders. That's enough. If you need more, let's say I was running too fast before right? And that's why I missed this boulder, because I didn't read it. Then you should dig up to this and invent a training how you make your run more steady, not the different speed, how to not exceed your speed, right? And you can go any level you want, and this level is actually written in your system.
Okay, that makes complete sense for sure.
Okay, I'd like to point out that the full document that Alex was referencing, there are links at the beginning of the chat. So if you'll open your chat and scroll to the beginning, you can find these documents. And I believe that Clinton will maintain those links for us when we have the YouTube videos. Is that correct, Clinton?
I need to say that those documents, they were written like almost 20 years ago. And right now, my view on the stuff a little bit evolved. So these documents, I would consider it as a start to understand the meaning of the orienteering system. And if you get some question, you can write to me.
Mary Jones wrote a question in the chat about how do you average various features?
For example, if you I'll try to draw it. For example, you're running in this direction, and you see three nulls like this. So basically, if you see something like this, you can imagine that there is a kind of line along this. So actually, it's not separate nulls. It's kind of a ridge. So you can imagine this, and you simplify these three to just one line along which you can just run. This just example which comes to my head.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, well, we're a little over time now, so that's great. If there's no more questions, then I think we can.
The question average simplification means average. No, it's not. At some extent, it means at some extent, but as I said, the simplification and generalization takes a lot of work under the hood, and it's very difficult subject. So I wouldn't simplify it to just average it.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Yes, it's advanced skill, very advanced.
Okay, we're going to leave the message open. I mean, the forum open a little bit. We're basically all done with the presentation. We'll keep it open for a couple more minutes so that people can get that link if they need to at the beginning of the messages. And I want to thank you very much, Alex. It was a very enjoyable presentation, and it gives us a lot to think about now.
My pleasure. Thank you all for your attention.